This is Fireman Ed, and you're listening to Jets Commute, Monday through Friday from 8 to 10 a.m. Jet fans, let's rock MetLife Stadium this year. J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets, Jets. Go Jets! This is Fireman Ed, and you're listening to Jets Commute, Monday through Friday from 8 to 10 a.m. Jet fans, let's rock MetLife Stadium this year. J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets, Jets. Go Jets!
Morning. Give me a thumbs up if you guys could hear, please. Maddie, June, good morning.
Good morning, brother.
What's up?
Oh man, tonight's the night.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot.
Oh, I didn't. Oh, I didn't.
This may be one of the best games of the year tonight, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that all depends on how competitive this game actually be. I don't really think it's gonna be competitive. That's my bold. That's my bold prediction.
So which way do you have it going?
Oh, must you ask? You don't have to really ask that question, do you?
I'm assuming Aqua.
All day, aqua, sunshine, and beaches.
We shall see. They've had their number to Buffalo, so
Yes, yeah, but you know what? All streaks have to be broken one day. Nothing lasts forever.
how many is it in a row? They have 4?
I want to say, is it? I think it might be 3. You
Oh,
would have to ask the blue guy with him,
Mark, good morning.
What's up? Good morning.
Mr. Torres. How you doing there?
Maddie,
I'm
good
good,
morning.
man. Settling in.
What's up, Petey? What's up, Mark?
Hello,
Man,
Matthew.
what's going on?
Who do you think it's going to be tonight, Matt?
Oh man, yeah, I'm gonna go with the Bills. They
What
always seem to beat the Dolphins.
I think for some reason I think so too.
The one thing I'll say now that I'm drinking my coffee here, Petey. I
Salute.
think, yeah, no lid for me, but I have a mug.
Yeah, well, it's different with no with a mug. Go ahead.
Um, Thursday night football. Usually the home team wins. Short week with the travel. That's the one thing. I do think the Bills are better, but I'm still gonna go with the Bills, but it's definitely I feel like it's going against the grain. But I'm gonna go Bills in a tight game. Yeah.
Petey,
Yeah.
are you going the same way, Petey? You going the same way?
This is tough.
Has Mike White been elevated from the practice squad there, or is he still on it? On Buffalo's practice squad.
I don't know, man.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what the why are you saying that because Allen was injured?
You don't Google it before you start the commute every day?
No,
Oh,
hell no.
Hey,
I do.
Mark, who you going with, Mark? You going with Miami? Or you going with Buffalo?
I'm having technical difficulties. Give me a second. Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I got you.
Oh, perfect. You know what? I was going Miami first, but I want to know if A-Chain plays. Like, if he doesn't play, he was a really important part of what they did against Jacksonville, I felt like. So if he's not out there, I think the scale tilts towards Buffalo.
Okay, Lee John, LJ, I need you, LJ. Where you at?
Hmm.
Lee
Before
John?
while
He's
while Lee
still
John's
sleeping.
while Lee John's chiming in here, I missed the beginning of the Jericho Cotchery on that space last night. Petey, I don't know if you heard the beginning. Did I? What was your Was there anything that stuck with you on that?
Uh,
What up, June?
I I'll get
What's
back
going
to
on?
you. I got in late, but
Okay.
I asked him a question at the end about the way he left and I said, is there anything
Yeah.
you can get into? And you
Yeah, I
could
heard
tell,
that.
man. No, just the
I
way
got
he
in late
feels
too. I
about
just wasn't sure.
I
Yeah.
like the way he felt about the Jets. Like he just always says he's a Jet, and he was a
Yeah.
gritty player, man.
Did he talk at all about what it was like to catch passes from Favre and how hard the ball came in or anything
I
like that?
I, I don't know. I missed it. I missed the
Yeah.
beginning.
Mm. Joe
Joe,
probably
We
would.
go.
Yeah.
Joe, if Joe,
I'd be curious to hear what Joe or Terrence,
I
if
just
Terrence,
wanted
if
to
you were
talk
in there
about.
early, I'd be curious
I
what I
wanted to talk
missed in
about
there.
the Nick Bosa thing from yesterday. I don't know if you guys heard what he said about the Jets, and it's what I've been saying. I've been saying it all summer long. Basically, he said they asked him about the opponent. He goes, "I think it's a better opponent than Minnesota. They're playing the Vikings this week." He said they're a better opponent than the Jets. He goes, and then he mentioned something about not patting themselves on the back, basically saying that the Jets walk around like they're better than they are. Basically he kind of took a shot at them. He goes, I don't think they're patting themselves on the back like something like that.
Do you think that's the coach's fault, Joe?
They think they're better than they are, they think they hear all around. Oh, they got a great defense. They got a great defense, and they
Well,
take it
they
hard.
hear it from the coach, though, Joe.
But they
The
haven't
coach
done it.
proclaims it.
But they lost such a big part of that defense, that defensive front. No JFM, no Huff, no Al Woods, no Quentin Jefferson. Those guys all contributed big time. Who did they replace those guys with? A stiff and Kinlaw, looks like Tarzan, plays like Jane. He's more of a stiff than Clemens, and that's it. And they have no pass rushers. They didn't replace Huff. Who
Yeah.
they have Jermaine Johnson, and that's it. They have one pass rusher who's a nice player. He got manhandled in that. Go look at the old 22. Jermaine Johnson didn't get a sniff of anybody in that game. Okay, so where's this great deal? I'm telling you right now, they will struggle against Tennessee. They'll probably lose. I think they're going to lose one of these next two games. I bet absolutely they'll lose at least one of these next two games because they're
They're
not
going
as
to
good.
barely beat
They're not as
Tennessee.
good as they think they are. They're not.
Yeah.
Their defense is not that good. I'm sorry. I've
Can
been,
I
I've
can
been
I say
saying it.
something though? Can I say something?
Go ahead.
Who the fuck cares what Nick Bosa says? Like, who? Why does that? Why should that like bother us as
But
fans?
that's
Who the
basically
hell?
but that's how the Jets are perceived. Like they're this team that
No,
walks
they're
around like
not.
shit.
No,
Yes,
they're
they
not.
are, bro. Yes, they are. Why would he say that then about patting yourself on the back? Because it was a shot at the Jets, bro. I mean, that's how the Jets.
But
You
who
know,
cares? Like should we just sulk and go home? Like, oh my God, Nick Bosa said something bad. Who fucking cares? We got Kaz and Samini and that idiot Benigno who talk bad about the Jets all the time. It's the same shit. It's
bro. It's
his
not,
opinion.
bro.
People are entitled to their opinions, right?
You don't got to call people names, bro.
It's a, what I'm why I'm why Bosa just did, right? Don't get in your feelings, Joe. I'm allowed to have my opinion, right?
I didn't call him an idiot.
Okay.
He's a friend of mine.
No, I
I hear
apologize
you.
to you. I
If somebody
apologize
called
if
you,
you.
if someone called you an idiot, I would say something.
all
Right,
right,
okay,
he
fair enough.
Because
apologized. He
I don't think
I
apologized.
you
just
are an idiot.
apologize. I just apologize. It was taken out of context. I wasn't really taking a jab at him like
The
that.
bottom line is you guys can say all you want, and that's I get back to Tiki's critique when he said, "Oh, Jet fans were lazy in their assessment." We are lazy because we think like they do that they're this great team. What have they done? They haven't made the playoffs in 14 years. How about
Joe,
make the
I
playoffs
agree
first?
with you, Joe. That's why I wasn't anointing them as this big bad division favorite, and fucking people were killing me. Who cares?
But
Just go
again,
win.
you're missing the point of what I'm saying, Joe. Is that everyone is entitled to their opinion, right? Who cares what
It's
they
not the
said?
it's not the point. I don't care what he says either. It's just that he said it. It kind of collaborates on other things that you hear about this team that they are very and it starts with their GM who's smug as hell. Joe
Joe,
Are
Douglas.
wait,
y'all in here
wait.
arguing
Joe
about y'all
Joe,
Douglas.
team again?
T,
Joe,
hold on. T, Joe,
Yes, they are.
somebody just made a comment, a Niner fan. No, Bosa said the Niners got away with some stuff and they can't pat themselves on the back. He was saying the Niners D got away from some stuff.
that's
That's
how
what a that's
that's
what
how I heard it.
49ers girl said, Long Island girl.
Yeah.
That's how I heard it this morning on TV. They were talking about it. He mentioned that this is a better opponent. He said the Vikings were a better opponent. He said than the Jets. He did say that. But
Yeah, but
Okay.
who cares? We
That's
play the
right. That's
Vikings.
right. We guys, it's the same old Jets just because Nick Bosa said something. This is fucking
no,
ridiculous.
I ain't gonna lie.
I've been saying this.
A-Rod
I've been
look
saying it
kind
all.
of good,
I've been saying it all summer.
unbiasedly.
I
I've
T,
been
don't
let's
saying all
go.
summer.
know.
Wait, T, let this convo go. This is pretty
No,
heated
but I've been
here.
saying all
So
summer. They walk around
Yeah, it's
smug,
heated
man.
for nothing. Like I ain't
it's
all
all
right. You
good. I
got
want to
They
hear the
walk around like they're
banter.
better than they are, man. They act like they're better than they are. And they're not. They're not. They haven't done anything yet.
But Joe, there's certain fans. I think it's more split because you have fans like, and I'm not singling people out. Mark's very positive. I still have the skeptical same old Jet mentality. Like I don't know what they're gonna do. They're gonna pull a Jet. Everybody's gonna think they're gonna blow out Tennessee, and I
Oh,
don't care if they win by one. Joe, just win the game.
I don't
Who
think they're blowing out
cares?
Tennessee.
Who thinks they're going to blow out Tennessee?
Tennessee's got a good old
A
line.
I
lot
do.
of
I think
Oh,
they're
people.
gonna
I
blow
damn
them
sure
doors
don't.
off.
They got weapons. They have a good old line. The quarterback
They have
sucks,
a
but
defense too, but
Tennessee,
you're sleeping on it.
Tennessee plays right into the Jets' hand this week, unless somehow Robert Sala is an idiot again with the defensive scheme up front. But I don't think he'll do that again.
Terrence, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say number one, I took the Bills. I'm sorry, I took Miami to win, not because I think the Bills suck or anything. I just think they're
Smart
playing
man,
at home.
smart man, Terry.
Yeah, no, they're just playing at home. That's all. I think it's a field goal game, and they're given 2.5. That's all. And then number two, yeah, you know what? I just know what the Jet players say. I mean, I don't live in Las Vegas or Houston, or let's just use some other bad franchise over the years. Like, I don't know if this, like everybody saying, hey, we're good, we're a good team. So I only know what our team says. I just know that there has been a lot of talk for 2 years, for getting close to 3 years about how good we are, and it doesn't reflect in the standings. But I think that, hey, you can't play this game without having a level of confidence and a level of swagger. That's how you survive in this league. So I don't, and yeah, I really don't care what other teams say, what other fan bases say. But to me, yeah, I don't, like Petey said, let's just win this one. I don't care how we do it, because to me, we were more rusty than bad. We were out of gas pretty fast, and I blame the coaching staff for that on Monday. And I'm just hoping that the line solidifies on both sides, and that this team is better, as we get into like week 4, 5, 6, into the meat of the season. Because if not, yeah, we're gonna have these shouting matches, like we always have since Spaces has started. If this team falls apart, but one game at a time. Let's win this. We're not playing the 49ers this week.
We
Terrence
lost
got a
him.
call.
But we're still a team that hasn't
He's
done
back.
anything
He's
yet.
still
So let's
going.
just do it 1 week at a time.
Yeah, we lost
Yeah,
you
I'm
for a
still going.
second.
Yeah, I'm sorry,
No,
I'm driving. But anyway, one
no,
game
you
at a
came.
time.
Yeah, you came in and out. We didn't hear like a couple of seconds, but
My
I get
boy
your
was in the
point, man.
multiverse with Spider-Man.
Yeah, no,
Um,
Terrence. To that point, listen, I looked at, because yesterday on CB Space we was talking to Yuji. The Jets
I
played
know.
72 snaps on defense. That's a lot, man. That's a lot of snaps, man. It's
Yeah,
unacceptable.
but that was all them. You know how last year or in the off season we said they played a lot of snaps because the offense couldn't get anything done. To me, this is more like we couldn't stop them after the first quarter when we were ahead 7-3. It was a game, but after that, the defense just didn't do anything to stop them, and they ran the clock out, and that was especially in that drive. Like they only got 3 points, but that drive at the end of the half, like Shanahan said, like to him, it was important that Rodgers didn't get the ball with any time left before the half. And they did what they had to, even though it was only a field goal, but it was what 16-7 at the time, right? And frankly, that made it more than a one-score game. So and they get the ball. They had the ball in the third quarter, and they marched down the field and scored again.
Joe, what's crazy is, Joe, are you here?
Yeah,
Joe,
I'm
what's
here.
crazy is you predicted them to lose, and so did I. you're like, it's not a big deal if they lose, and you're already right.
But
But Joe, you're
but
already
but
going
but
crazy about one game.
I know, but I thought they'd be competitive at least, where they wouldn't be, where it wasn't 8 straight drives, 8 straight scoring drives they gave
Yeah.
up in a row.
All
So
right.
I didn't think it'd be
And
that bad.
Joe, honestly, what Bosa said, real quick, Ant, what Bosa said, the fucking Vikings played the Giants. Give me a break. Of course
Yeah,
they're
I mean
playing
I
that
better
thing
know,
with
but
football.
Bosa was a that thing with Bosa was a little. I didn't know how to take it, to be honest. But no, I mean just to kind of stay with Terrence.
I think the Jets are perceived throughout the NFL. And you guys are going to say, who cares how they're perceived? But I'm just saying, you know what? It's fine to be perceived like that if you win. But
No,
if you lose and you walk around cocky, then it's not
I
good. I'm
just want
sorry,
to kind of.
because the coach has to go, and so does the
I want
GM.
to let.
The
Are
J-
I
y'all
want to
so
walking
let.
Antonio
around
called
cocky?
Paulie. Antonio, you're being perceived.
No, I want to just say what Terrence was saying about going into the half. I mean, he went into that's the thing that goes back to coaching. He went into the halftime with 2 timeouts left. He didn't attempt to call a timeout. You have Aaron Rodgers on the other side. I mean, to me, that's a little concerning. You
Nah,
know,
you
I mean,
had to kneel on the ball there.
no, but Petey, when they were driving down the field, they didn't call any timeouts to save some clock to get the ball back. It's not like you have Zach Wilson on the other side. I mean,
I
why are
hear
you
you.
going into the half with 2 timeouts? You can't do anything with them after the half. And that's the thing on coaching. I mean, so
All right. Brian, go ahead.
I mean,
Brian,
nobody else agrees. Nobody agrees with
yeah,
that. I mean,
I,
I don't know.
I just thought about it. I actually do. Brian, you're here. Listen, you
Yeah,
hold
thank
on
you,
one
Petey.
second. I have a
I'm going.
you because
Yeah,
yesterday I didn't give you any pushback about the leadership of the Jets. Like I think they do
yeah.
have leadership. Let me ask you, who's the leader of? I know the coach is really good, but who's the Ravens leader? Is it Lamar?
No,
Oh, okay.
the Smith linebacker is probably the only really
So you
real
don't
leader
think
on that
C.J.
team, to be
Mosley's a
honest.
great leader? He was for you
I
guys.
didn't say he
No, I
wasn't.
know, but you.
I didn't say he
All
wasn't.
right, I'm just asking you because I mean you're asking about the Jets.
I do think Mosley's a good leader. I was really commenting on what Skip Bayless said, that there is no leaders on the team. I think Mosley is a good leader. The Ravens don't have any really good leaders on offense. I mean, Smith is a great leader on defense, but other than that, you know. I was going to really talk about the Tennessee matchup. My personal opinion, this is going to be a defensive struggle on both teams. This is going to be a defensive game. I think the Jets are going to be tested early with just the Tennessee run game. I think they're going to run Pollard. They're going to run Levis is going to make some first downs with his legs. They're going to keep Rodgers off the field. They're going to do a ground and pound. It's going to be a low scoring game. They're going to test the Jets defensive line early and see if they made adjustments, if they say they can step up. I think that's what it's going to be. They're just going to try to keep Rodgers off the field and grind and pound it, and we'll see what happens.
Who are you
I
picking in
think it'll
that
be a
game, Brian?
low-scoring game. What?
Who are you picking in the game?
I think that the Jets, will get a drive and win by a field goal.
Yeah.
But what's the difference? Hey, by the way, I see Big Nick in here, Dolphin fan from back in the day
What do you
on
mean?
Twitter.
What's the
What's up?
difference? What do you mean? What's the
What?
difference?
Well, I mean, I don't care. The difference is whatever. If we win by 3 or 12 or an ending field goal, if we're down by 2 and we win by 1,
That's
I
a
don't
team that they
care.
should win by 7, Petey.
But why? But
Not
who are
3.
we to? But Ant, why? Why
What do you
should
mean? Who
we?
are we? Everybody is crowning us to go to the Super Bowl, right? This
Who?
the
Not
Super Bowl
me.
year.
Not me.
But I'm
Not
saying
me.
everybody's got the high expectations. Why are you beating the Titans by 3?
Because it's a road game, number one.
Okay,
I'm
they
just
should beat that
saying,
team
like,
by a touchdown
Yeah, but
Ant,
Vegas
easily.
has us at 3.5.
right. I'm just
Yes,
saying, Ant,
but
like,
that's 3. But Maddie, think about it. You get 3 points being the home team, so it's really 6.5.
folks, we're in mid-season form. Welcome to the space.
Yeah, I mean, look, I had him at 10 wins the whole. I had him at 10-7 this year. Wild card, hopefully,
Mm-hmm.
and hopefully making a
But
run.
Petey, am I wrong? It's a 6.5
Not,
spread, really. If it was home, it would be 6.5.
And
Correct?
I get it, but I don't care about Vegas. I just want to
No,
win,
but I
man.
said
Like,
I'm just saying they
man,
should win by touchdown. That's all I'm
okay,
saying.
they
Not
should.
3
Yeah,
points.
it's just I just can't. I just don't think there could be meltdowns yet after one game.
I'm not
It's just
melting down. I'm not.
no. I'm
I'm
not
just saying
saying
that's a
you
team.
are.
I'm
Go
saying
ahead.
they should go into that there and win
Okay,
and
that's
beat them by
fair.
a touchdown at least. It shouldn't
They
come down
should
to a
be.
field goal at the end of the game.
All the betting sites have the Jets at 3.5. So I mean, you take a half a point by some penalties that get in field goal range here and there. It's pretty online.
If
What's going to
if they
happen.
win the game by 1 point, I'm going to be thrilled.
So am I. It's a road victory. I don't care. Just win.
Yeah,
They have
it's
9
about
road games this
survival and
year.
surviving and
Yep.
advancing and hopefully getting better along the way. Period.
Charles, before you go, that was a very nice statement. What you said to Cotchery last night. He was a true Jet, man. That guy.
And that was the point, Pete. I mean, just class, right? On top of everything else, effort, ability, and class. And you don't see enough of that. And I miss
Charles.
him.
Yeah, Charles. I didn't know if he could comment. I asked him that question, but you could tell it still burns him up. He loved the Jets, man. That
I,
just
I,
that Derek Mason move was dreadful, man.
and it was a great question to ask, and you knew that you'd get the kind of answer you got. But I kind of took your torch and answered it for him in a way.
Thanks, Charles. I appreciate that. Charles, are you panicking yet? I know you're
No,
out on Sala, but
yeah, I've been out of Salah for a while, but I'm not panicking. But this fan base does this every year, right? We're a playoff team. We're the team to beat in the division. We haven't been in the playoffs in 13 years. Just win a goddamn game, okay? Start with that. Just win Sunday any which way. It doesn't matter what the score is in this league. Just start to stack some wins in September. I forget the stat that somebody showed, something like 2-17 in September over the last certain amount of years. It was a ridiculous stat. Just start stacking some wins, and then we can start talking about nice things.
I agree. Listen, Charles, I think Jeff fans are going to think that the New England game should be 35-7. No way. It's a division game. No
Petey,
way.
and if Belichick was still the coach of New England, right? They probably beat us twice again. Anytime Salah faces a real head coach, you're going to a gunfight with a knife.
I mean, I, Charles, if they don't, the more I think about it, man, it's not getting any better for Sala. I got to give it a couple. Let me just see a little more. Now the games in quotes, Charles, they're supposed to win, right? We're supposed to win.
This is a huge stretch for his career. When we get out of this, I know a lot of people saying we should be 4-1. Come out of this at 3-2, and you're sitting okay. After this stretch of games. If for some reason this goes awfully bad, his fate is sealed, and
So
this
would
is
you,
his
Charles,
stretch.
wait, would you be okay with 3-3 after the Bills?
I'd have to be. I'd have to be, right? I mean, we think we're going to get way ahead in the win column at some point. It doesn't work that way, and especially with this team. Stay around 500 to the midpoint of the season and finish strong. That's the formula to get into the playoffs and make a little bit of noise. This idea that you start off on fire and stay on fire, it rarely happens with anybody. It
Yeah,
never happens with us.
most teams have streaks in the NFL. Look, the Chiefs had a bad streak last year. I mean,
Even in baseball
Charles,
today, Petey, get in, finish strong, and continue momentum into the playoffs. That's the formula, and keep our interest past Christmas, for Christ's sake.
The way
Christmas
Rogers,
past Thanksgiving. Good
the way
man.
Rogers is
Halloween.
talking, the way Rogers is talking, he thinks it's gonna take some time. I think.
And I
But I
think it
was
normally does. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. That's why I'm not going to. Some fans are going to panic at 3-3 and say, well, the schedule was favorable and we're only 3-3. Just stay at 500, above 500, through the midpoint of the season. And hopefully the rust is off and we're healthy and maybe we make a run. That's the way I see it.
Charles. Were you happy with Rogers' performance?
Yes, he to me, I saw a guy that looks like he can be a real good quarterback still. He seemed fine. He wasn't the problem. The problem, honestly, and I think I said it before, is it was scheming and game planning. It was coaching. I mean, that game was won before kickoff.
So you
Who
weren't
do you hold
confident
more
it.
accountable, Charles? Sala or Ulbrich?
No, it's always the head coach, Mark. I mean, he wears it, especially if the defense looked that bad and he's a so-called defensive head coach. That I blame him first and foremost on that. And then you're watching a video of Hackett talking to Rodgers, and Rodgers is talking to somebody else and not even listening to him. We go into football games not only against the Shanahan. Our quarterback runs the show, and there's no support anywhere else in the building on offense.
And, ah. Hello, everybody. Everybody's so quiet.
Peter, you sound down. You knew this anyway.
Yeah, well, it's just, like, let me get to Nelson. I gotta
This last
rethink my
thing,
thoughts.
Petey, I leave for Nashville in 3 hours. So if they
Oh,
lay a friggin' egg this weekend,
you're
I,
done.
I am so done.
Charles, you know what's funny, man? Like, hear me out, Charles. So you're older than me. I know how old you are. Charles, it's just such a glutton for punishment. It's just, and we keep doing it.
It's Einstein's definition of madness, Pete. Every year I do this, I go there, and this
I'm
year I
sorry,
might be
that
one
was
of those
really
guys
funny.
yelling at Salah as he walks back to the
That,
locker room.
that was really funny. Charles just had this thing where everyone needs to be patient, be rational. Hopefully, we do this and then get better, and then we get momentum as the season ends. And then he says, "Oh, I'm going to Nashville. If they lose, I'm done."
No.
That was.
And I've said
I'm
that.
sorry. That
I've said that
I
the
don't.
last
Was that?
the
I
last
listened to the
15
same thing
years.
that everyone else just did.
But, sir, hold on, man, real quick. Nelson, I don't know. You had your hand up. I don't know if you're ready to go, but what's up?
Yeah, I'm here, guys. Mark June, good morning, guys.
Good morning,
What's up?
Nell.
Yeah, so I mean, they had the lead. They had a 7-3 lead, and the thing that killed me the most is that they couldn't.
Man, Nelson's Wi-Fi is awful. It's always awful. Nelson, did we lose you? He's probably still talking.
Yeah,
Oh, there he
guys,
is.
how about now? You hear
Yeah.
me?
What happened? You walked away and the Wi-Fi kicked off?
No, I'm actually trying to walk away from the area where I'm always going off. No, I was just saying that they had the lead,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's just that they just couldn't get off the field at third down. They kept converting the third downs. And like the last listener was saying that Salah didn't use his timeouts, is that they couldn't get off the field. I'm sure if they would have stopped them at third down, those timeouts would have been used.
Yeah, but it wasn't third down. They
But
were in third and short. It was first and second down that was the
no,
problem.
I understand that. It's just that they couldn't they couldn't stop them. I'm sure if they would have stopped them and had them punt, how many times did they punt? Did they punt not even
They
once?
punt once.
That's it. And I'm with you that before the half ended. He had timeouts, but he couldn't utilize them because they couldn't stop him. And that was like disheartening. And then and then when they scored on the free play, I said, okay, we're back in business. And then that play with Debo being guarded by Ashton Davis, he caught the ball and then he pushed him to the sideline and he ran another 10 yards. How much time is left until I get to see the post? Because I couldn't take it, and I'm hoping that they play a little bit better defense this week because
Yeah, the tackling was awful.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm surprised they didn't make a
with Reddick,
personnel
what's
move this
going
week
on?
on the
What's going
line.
to go on with Reddick? Are they going to do something with Reddick now? I thought by now they'd be had a conversation with him about it. This is getting who knows that how much of a difference he would have made
I
Monday,
don't think
maybe
it's
not.
about. I don't think it's about Reddick, dude. I think they have a big problem ever since Al Woods got hurt in that Giants game. They
Oh
have a
yeah,
big
yeah.
problem stopping the run. They don't have size and beef up front. I'm surprised they have not made a personnel move this
I
week
agree.
to bring in a big fat guy who is just going to clog up space and take on
Well,
double
how about
teams.
Leonard Taylor?
That was Lucky. That was Lucky Fotu, guys. But
Then
Lucky Fotu's hurt for a couple
all right,
games. How long is he out?
all right.
4
Well,
games.
hopefully it's Lucky Fotu, or hopefully they activate Leonard Taylor. But this personnel, I know it's the Niners, but I don't care about Reddick. It's not about Reddick to me. It's about them getting demoralized against the run. They need some beef in there, man.
Yeah, let me get to certified. Good morning.
Oh, good morning, fellas. How y'all doing?
What's
Good,
going on,
man.
sir?
Quick question, real quick question. Now, y'all know y'all my guys, right? And I don't usually come in here starting shit, but I got a question.
Here you
So,
go.
so the gentleman that spoke, not Maddie, not the guy before him, but the guy before him said, we put Rogers out there on the field. I'm paraphrasing it. We put Rogers out on the field with like limited help, and nobody said anything. But when I said that your offense was pretty light last week, everybody jumped me.
Mm.
Well, I don't know what that guy said, certified, but the help, that's not why we lost the game. We lost because we couldn't stop the run, and you guys were in third and short the whole night. It had nothing to do with Rodgers, and
Certified.
the offense
Yeah,
looked fine.
Okay.
certified. I think
Uh,
people didn't. I think I'm going to be in quotes. People didn't jump you or whatever, but I'm going to say because I think people were more confident that the offense would have been on the field more, and we would have been able to get other people the ball besides Brees
mhm,
Hall and Garrett Wilson. And it
mhm.
was just dreadful. You guys just completely outclassed us in every fashion on the field. You got to take
So
your hats off.
no, I get that. I'd agree. But so Matt, you don't think the inability to sustain drives didn't play a role in your defense being able to come up with a game plan to counter what we was doing and give themselves
It's not a bad
a
perspective. They had a
breather?
couple of drives that didn't go anywhere. I'd say it was like, if I had to put a percentage on it, I'd say it was like maybe 15% that, and then 85% that the Jets just could not get off the field. We had a 3-and-out to start the game, and we could not stop the run afterwards. We couldn't do anything afterwards, really. But to me, it was more about getting gashed on first and second down against the run, and then we just couldn't get any pressure because you guys had 3-step drops, and
Yep.
uh,
Can I say something,
and that was
please?
and that was it.
Yes, Mark.
Thank you. We had a Dolphins fan yesterday doing cartwheels over the amount of 3-and-outs that the Jets offense had. And my response to that is, yeah, it's too many 3-and-outs, but this is a brand new unit altogether. This is Rogers' first game back from Achilles. Nobody knew what he was going to look like, if he was going to be in game shape, if the ball would, if he would see the field. Was the game too fast for him? Was he going to be able to hit people with timing, accuracy? Was it the cadence? Was the line going to jump offside? Like, we have no idea. We had no idea what the offense was going to look like. And I think the offense won't
And
be a
whose
fully
fault?
formed unit for six. Hold on, if I
And
could
whose fault is that?
finish. If I could finish. We didn't know if the offense looked like a complete unit for like 6 weeks, let's say, of them finding their identity and understanding what they're all about. So I don't hold them too harshly for having so many 3-and-outs, because I don't think they didn't play it all in the preseason. Like, I'm just trying to be reasonable
Yeah,
about it instead of
Mark.
harboring hate for
And Mark, whose
Rodgers and
fault?
the rest
Mark,
of
whose
it.
fault is that? Whose fault is that?
What, that they didn't play in the preseason?
Yeah.
Uh, well, the coaching staff and Rodgers said, you know what, we're not going to put you
No,
guys out in
not
the
the staff.
preseason.
And that's why the coaching on this staff sucks. Right there. Because a
What
real coach would have
can I
known.
ask you?
A
Can I
real
ask a question?
a real coach would
Sean,
have known
did you
that. We
see
don't
any
have one.
other teams look rusty week one?
Mark, I'm worried about my team.
I,
And my team had a quarterback that didn't play in 20
yeah, but
months. You
context
don't think it would have been
matters.
prudent to have him out there?
But you think, okay, so if
Nah.
he twists an ankle in the preseason, listen, I wanted to see Rodgers in the preseason, at least for like a series or two, because I didn't want to have them look rusty on Monday night. I said that in the lead up to it. But then there are fearful fans that said, no, why would you dare risk him out there? Oh, what if he twists an ankle in a meaningless game and now you're back where you started? Like, I understand both sides of the argument. But look, this is what they chose.
Does Does anybody know how many possessions the Jets actually had?
I think 6 or 7.
Anthony, they had
Okay, so
52 plays on offense. 52.
okay, okay. So if they had 6 possessions, right? They scored what on half of the possessions. Then they scored 21 points, correct?
Yeah,
19.
yeah. Well, yeah, 21. Just somebody just say just 3
Or
touchdowns.
whatever. 20, whatever. I mean, they went for 2. So let's just say 21. I mean, so through 6 possessions on half the possessions, they they scored. They scored 3 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
If you put things in perspective,
I think if they
so
would
they're
have
All
had
right.
just
more
going to score
opportunities,
points.
Anthony, they would have scored more points. But yeah, the amount of 3 and outs
Yeah,
are
correct.
problematic, but you really don't think they're going to clean that up? I do.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, just think about it. We didn't have the ball that long. We still scored 3 touchdowns.
I
Let's
brought
get
Big
to
Nick up.
Dom.
Shout out to Big Nick, OG, coming up. But go ahead, Dom.
You had 10 possessions.
All
Oh, 10. Okay.
All right.
So
Thanks, Certified.
to Matty Ice's point earlier, um, when he said, I'm surprised there hasn't been a roster move or a transaction of some sort. It's probably because the Jets, the Jets coaching staff don't. They're and whether this is a good thing or a bad thing, this is what I believe. They're just not going to react emotionally like the fans do, like we do, right? Listen, if there's anything that came out of this game on Monday, it's to show that the Jets are they're probably a good team, and they're not a great team yet. They can be great, but there's no reason to, and I don't think anybody should. You fan the way you want to fan, but I don't think anyone needs to jump to conclusions because we lost to San Francisco. I mean, leading into the week, or leading into the summer, or leading into the season, everyone thought we were going to lose to San Francisco, right? I mean,
I sure did, Dom.
I know, I know that for sure. But it's like, okay, you tip your cap, but got manhandled by a better team. You lick your wounds and you move on. You fix what's wrong. If there's the same issues on the defense that's happening in week 4, week 5, week 6, then there's a problem. I
Yeah,
don't I
but
don't
but
think.
but here's the thing. But by then it could be too late, Dom.
Yeah, but
And last year
like
we had
but
fears
this
about
isn't.
the.
But Maddie, this isn't like and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, but it's not like fantasy football where you just drop and add guys, at will. They
I
they they,
understand
they
that,
built
but I'm just talking about one guy who weighs 400 pounds, who's going to go in there and take up space. I get he has to learn the playbook. You put him in there on first and second down. A guy like Al Woods, I just haven't seen since Al Woods went down. I think there's a visible difference, even to someone like me, who's an
Al Woods.
average Joe who doesn't
Can
do
I
this.
can I
There's a
can I can I rebut that though? Everyone wants to talk about Al Woods because he's a big guy. He's he had that tendency as a run stuffer. He played 9 snaps a game. Al Woods didn't affect the run game. He did not affect the run game for the 5 weeks that he played.
That's not true. That's not true. I just
Him
want to
and
say that.
Jefferson used
Okay.
to split time, and they were similar players. Him and Jefferson, if you total the total snaps,
okay.
you
So
all
Jefferson.
lacking a little beef in the middle.
All right, so
Okay.
Jefferson, it just last year we had a problem going in with the offensive line. We all knew it could be a problem. It manifested itself in the first game of the season. We all sort of were hoping that it would gel and get better. We were all like, okay, and they started to get a little bit better and better. Obviously, the quarterback wasn't there. But I feel like this year, the clear issue going into the season that even us average Joe fans here on Twitter could see was the defensive line. We were all worried about the guys that they lost and who they did not replace with. And now, it manifests itself. Again, I didn't think that they'd win the first game. I said it the day of. I think they're going to barely win this second game, but I think that this is going to be a big problem. And what really concerns me is I know what you're saying. I have a little bit more of a pragmatic. I'm not freaking out about it either, but I am concerned about the way Saul is talking about it.
And
I'm
Maddie, would you
concerned about
But
agree?
his
The way Salah talks about anything, I think if nothing more, we have to take it with a grain of salt.
But both you. One thing did you notice, and this has been like a thing since he's been there. There's like a smugness with Salah when it comes to changes or improvements. It's like we got this, we got this. Nobody knows what they're talking about. We got this, and I see that and it annoys the shit out of me.
Well, last year they put a third ranked defense with the 9th worst field position in the league. So I kind of, at least on the defensive side of the ball, they get a little grace from me. But Maddie, to your point, Al Woods being present, adding beef in the middle to help out. I'm curious, like if we're about accountability, all the JFM haters, they're like, this guy's getting paid too much, he's overrated, and the rest. Like, where are those guys? I'm not hearing them come up and take a mic and say, you know what, I was wrong. The Jets shouldn't have let JFM out the door.
That's a fair point, Mark. That's a fair point. But again, I listen. I know Al Woods is the easy soft landing for everyone because he's a big body and so on and so forth. Honestly, go back and listen. Go back
Nick, you're
and
up next.
see. What's that?
No, go ahead, Dom. Finish your point.
No,
I got
I
Nick
was
is
just
up
gonna
next.
say give it. Let them work out what they want, and you're gonna see those 9 plays that Al Woods played every week for the 5 weeks that he was here. It really aren't amount to much. And if nothing, if anything more, like that role was going to be filled and then some by Lecky Fotu. Unfortunately, Lecky Fotu pulled his calf muscle, right?
Hey, sir.
How
Yeah.
long is he out for?
Minimum
4
4 weeks.
games, Pete said?
They
weeks.
said it was
Yeah.
a 2 week. They said it was a 2 week injury, and they just decided to because of the tendency to high re-injury risk for a calf. They said they put him on and give him 4 weeks.
Okay.
All right, let's get Big Nick real quick. He's been waiting. Big Nick, good to see you, man. How you doing?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Petey, Mark, Matty Ice,
Yo,
Bird, I
Nick.
see you down there.
Nick from
What's up?
the old joint spaces, the old AFC spaces, huh? What's up?
Yeah, man. I just haven't been on in a while. I'm kind of back now, so I just wanted to come in and say what's up to you guys. I didn't want to put my hand up because I didn't want to interrupt the conversation, but I just really want to say hi and good to be back, man. Good to see you guys. Shout out to all my
Yeah,
Dolphin
man.
fans up in here, though.
Hope you're well, brother. We always had
Yeah,
good
you're always
talk.
welcome in here, man.
Nick,
Yeah, man,
Nick,
for sure. I'll be back. You guys will see me again.
Yeah, Nick, you were one of the first where you were talking and you were putting up emojis before anything, man. I'll never forget that. That was classic shit. But good to see you, man. We
You
had some
guys too,
really good
man.
talk.
For
Good.
sure, man. I'll be sticking around and listening, man.
Yeah, besides week 15 and 18, good luck this season.
Hey, likewise, man. It's good to hear you guys talk, man. I just wanted to see what you guys were thinking about the year. And just real quick, from a Dolphin fan's perspective, I agree with you guys, man. I don't think you guys were really supposed to win that game, so I don't think you guys should put too much into that. I do think there were signs that there's flashes that they just need to come together. And I think you guys are going to be a decent team. I just think, the trenches, you got to get the trenches figured out. But it's going to be a good season, man.
Thanks,
Nick, a quick
Nick.
Dolphin point.
No.
Okay, Pete.
No, Mark, you're good.
I was going to say a quick Dolphin point, Nick. I watched your whole game, and 2 things I saw. One, A-Chain is for real. Like, he's a very good back.
Scary, yeah.
That stood out. The other part, I was not expecting. I know the first half, is the first half, but then your defense started to look like. I was not expecting your defense to look like in real form until, I don't know, maybe midway through the season, and I feel like they're getting a head start. And that's the thing, man. If that defense starts coming together and looking like a top 10 unit, pair with that offense, like, that's pretty scary. So your fan base should be pumped.
Yeah, for sure. And to think that we have Chubb coming back at some point too, is just just kind of the cherry on top. Hopefully we can stay healthy this year. And yeah, man, I look forward to playing you guys. I'm excited for the season, and I do think that we will be the 2 teams fighting for the top, regardless of the Bills, man. I think it's going to end up being Jets and Dolphins fighting for that first place seed.
And that's the reason why I got Miami over Buffalo tonight.
Yeah, by the
Nick,
way,
what's your sense? Okay.
Well, Nick, you know you're always welcome in here, and Nick, when we first started out, it was always arguing, but for you to even give the Jets a compliment is, man, shout out to you because we used to have some. It was always heated, but it was good arguments. You know what I mean? And it's just good
Always
to see
in
you
love,
back, man.
PD.
Yes, of
Yeah,
course.
man, you guys are some good ones, man, and I always enjoy talking to you guys, especially you and Mark, Matty Ice for sure. So I'll definitely be back. I'll be chiming in. For now, I'm going to drop back to the listening section, but I just want to say hi and let you guys know that I'll be around.
Yep. Have a great day, Nick.
Right on, man.
Appreciate you, man. Garrett,
Hammy,
go
what's
ahead.
going on, brother?
What's up, Jim, Mark, PD? I get a little frustrated after these games too, especially in the first like 24 hours. But I feel like after that, it wears off a little bit. And I come back to reality a little more. It's the first game of the season. You got to wait 4 games to really see what this team is. This happens every year with every team, and people overreact all the time. I've seen the Jets start out 1-0 and blow out a team week 1, and then they're terrible this season. I've seen the Jets start out 1-3 and go to the AFC Championship. I mean, you got to give it time. Week 1 is not indicative of how the season's going to go. I understand there's some concerns, but I'm not ready to say, oh, we moved on from JFM. Yeah, maybe we could have used him week 1, but would that have made the difference? Would we have won the game if JFM was here? I don't think so. So let these guys grow in this defense, let them learn, let's see what happens. I'm just willing to let it play out a little bit more than make these statements after week 1. I'll do it right after the game because I'm frustrated, but try to take some time and think logically about it.
Garrett, to your point, if Rogers and company, let's say that this unit, as constructed this year, had played all year last year and kind of been able to get all the bumps and bruises out and actually put together, that's a playoff team. I think that's a 10-win team at a minimum if Rogers plays for a full year last year. But with this same group, but let's say then they start the year and put up this performance on the offensive side of the ball, I would be concerned. I'd be like, shit, like last year, like they were all together, but this year it's a whole new. This is their first
Yeah,
time as an
but
Yeah, well,
offense playing together.
you
But
can't
but
play
but
that mix
Mark
and match
Rogers had
thing.
Why
that.
not?
But Rogers had that with Green Bay, and they lost 38-3 week 1 to Tampa Bay, and Jameis Winston threw 5 touchdowns. I
But he
mean,
also wasn't a
and then he went on,
participant in
and then he went
OTAs
on
and
to win
wrestling.
13 games, and and he was the MVP that year. I mean, it's week 1 is so hard to judge, no matter if your team's been together for 4 years or if you're putting a new team together.
I'm not saying that it makes sense to jump off bridges after one. I agree with you on that point. Anyone jumping off a bridge after week 1 should get their head examined. But I think I would, if they were putting up that many 3-and-outs and like it was still looking, and honestly, it wasn't even that bad. The offense isn't really, I don't think, why they lost. Like, I think they just got
Well,
ran on. But
and
go ahead.
Mark, it wasn't even Rogers' fault. It was a drop ball. It was a fumble. Like stuff that doesn't usually happen.
Yeah,
Brees Hall
tip ball,
fumbling.
interception.
That's
Yeah,
highly unusual. Like Brees Hall doesn't fumble the ball.
that's a week
It was
1.
just a good play by San Francisco.
That's
Yep.
it. Yeah.
Garrett, good
Exactly.
points. Charles, real quick, hold on. I want to shout out a couple of people in here. Lewis, Zolo, J. Mick, Rock, UG, what up? Hexakin, what up? Bill Thom, what's up? Jim Hamill, Mario, Nikki. I see some other fans in here. Alex, Mr. Bandman, what up? Long Island Jets lady or 49ers, what's up? Shout out to you guys in the listener section. Go ahead,
Pete,
continue.
another quick point. Another quick point on that. I don't see CB in here this morning, but if you see CB, please give him a follow. Those afternoon rooms are good rooms. We had a couple folks in from different fan bases coming in just to talk purely Jets, and it's a great conversation. There's a lot of learning that happens in that room. It's really nice getting an outside perspective. So it was a really good room. So if CB comes in here, please follow him. Those afternoon rooms are fun.
Charles, go ahead.
Yeah, just to Mark's point before, Mark, and I used to do this years ago, but I don't do it anymore. The whole mixing and matching thing. Like if this offense was the offense last year with this personnel, then this and that. Honestly, right now the Jets don't have any identity to go on because it's been bad for so long. This isn't like a team returning with the same system and continuity. We still don't know what this team is going back 10 years. There's been no carryover to go to last year. Well, all we need is to add this and we'll be that. Once you've arrived and had success, then the seasons going forward, you can have those conversations. But this team right now, until they actually do something, you really can't go based on past experience, recent, forward. We don't know anything until they
Yep.
start to stack wins. And
Ch-
real quick, Pete, the
Yep.
reason I'm so worried about this game this week is if they go 0-2, I don't know if they get to 3-3. That's my concern about this week and why I'm a little bit nervous.
That's fair. Charles, I'll be the first to admit, because I was on Mark's side with this, and listen, I'm accountable for what I say on takes. I say if the Jets score points, they're going to win. I mean, 19 points still isn't going to win games, but you're right. I was saying if the Jets had competent quarterback play, and to me, Rodgers was more than competent. But
But you're going by last year's defense, and
correct,
you don't know if
Charles,
last year's
correct.
defense is this year's.
Charles, and then I put out a post a couple of weeks ago. I said the Jets defense is not as good as last year with Reddick not on the field. And fans told me, not every fan, but a lot of fans told me, oh, he hasn't played a snap. How could you say that? Charles, I'm not saying people are stupid. It's common sense. The Jets are not as
Common
good.
sense.
They lost Woods. I mean, I don't even want to put Woods in there. JFM, Huff, and Quentin Jefferson. And, Hassan Reddick, they have to have him in. I don't feel like getting worked up again.
Well, you
This
lost
guy
all those
had,
guys, and you just
yeah,
added Kinlaw. That's it, really. I mean, because Reddick's not there.
Charles, they have to bring this guy in, man. Just freaking put your ego aside. This is bad, man. I think it's going to get worse. I do. This is an ugly
If he misses
situation,
this
man.
week, Pete, it could
Yeah,
be what, week 8, week 11 before you see him in the Jet uniform? Like, that's 2 game checks if he misses this week.
yeah.
Yeah, once
Hey,
Mark.
You just need to pretend like he's not on the team anymore.
Yeah,
Garrett,
so
Seriously.
right? But
I,
I don't think you can, Garrett. Like as a fan.
Sure, you
Well,
can. It's up to him to show up. Douglas isn't going to do anything. I mean, I've got it wrapped in my head. What does he have to show up by week 11? That's probably when it's going to happen. Or trade him. I don't
yeah,
care. Just
I know that
get
y'all brought in
whatever.
Kinlaw, but I don't know if you should be expecting anything from him other than giving your starters a breather.
I agree I agree with that, and I also agree with what Hammy's saying. The biggest problem, though, without having him, Hammy, is you went into a season thinking you were X, and you didn't address the position because you thought he was there. In other words, if you don't go down this road that they're going down, they probably would have handled the defensive line position differently, personnel wise. Now they're short-handed.
Right. Sure, but that's only one person's fault, and that's Joe Douglas.
Amen.
I mean, it is. It's what it comes down to. It
yeah,
was
Charles.
bad management by him.
Charles, have a good trip. You stay up here, but Charles, I haven't talked to you in a while. It's good to talk to you, man. It's always a good
You too,
combo.
Pete. And when I was in Vegas last year, I said never again. So much for my promises to myself.
Well,
Hey, Charles, I'll be in Nashville this weekend, too.
You know what? I'm gonna hit you up private in case I can buy you a beer somewhere, my friend.
All right, I'll be up there Saturday
Wow,
night.
enjoy, guys. Charles, and I'm sure if the Jets win this weekend, you're going on another trip. So,
Even if they lose, probably, Pete.
right. Uh, Bobby Thompson came up here, but hey, Bobby, how are you? Good to see you, man.
It's good, man. How you doing?
Good, good, good. You want to give your thoughts on the Jets game real quick, and then we got New England coming here. Are you coming next week to the game or no?
I'm going to be in New Jersey. I don't know about the game anymore.
All right. Well, let me know if you need to. I can probably get you a cheaper ticket, man, if you need or whatever. We can work something out if you need to. All
I'll
right.
see what's up. Yeah, I got a lot going on.
All right.
We'll see what's
Did
up.
we lose you?
Yeah, no.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm right
Well,
here.
all right. Yeah. All right. Give me your thoughts real quick, and then unless Steven, do you want to ask Bobby something before we go
I
on?
have something for Bobby, too.
Well, real
Steven.
quick, I just wanted to say, Reddick. I think it's more likely now that Reddick doesn't play a snap for the Jets than he does. I think both sides are dug in, and I don't think one game or 2 games is gonna. Because again, I think even though Joe Douglas, we don't want him to think this way, but he still thinks he has a job next year, and he doesn't want to set that precedent. So that's how stubborn I think he could be. So I think it's more likely. And then Reddick, everyone says, oh well, if he doesn't report, we'll have his rights for next year. But at the same time, I think he's banking on them just releasing him then in the off season because they wouldn't want to go through this headache again next year. So I think it's just both sides are stubborn because Reddick should have reported. I mean, giving up all this money is stupid. So both sides are at fault, but I'm starting to really believe that we don't see Reddick play in a Jet uniform.
That's fair. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, I
Oh, good, Bobby. Did you have something on that?
no. You can go, man. It's all good.
Before we dig into the Tennessee matchup, I wanted to ask you about the upset of the weekend, which is your team beating the Bengals. Can you give us 3 things about that game that surprised or shocked you, or did it turn out the way you thought?
Well, when T. Higgins couldn't go, I knew that the Patriots didn't really have to focus on him, and the backup receivers they're decent, but they're not gonna command that much attention as a T. Higgins would. And I knew Chase would play. He played a limited role. You know, it's Christian Gonzalez covered him on 28 routes. Now Chase ended the day with 6 catches for 62 yards, but in coverage against Gonzalez, three thrown to six. I forgot what 4 times, 3 receptions, 14 yards. That's it. So I was happy with Christian Gonzalez coming back from the shoulder injury. Looked great. The defense was more physical. That's going to be the motto for New England this year: be a physical defense, win the line of scrimmage. Which, by the way, the Patriots D line against the Bengals offensive line won the day. Just from the beginning to the game to the end of the game, the line of scrimmage, that in the trenches, that's where you win. That's where they won. I'm surprised with the Patriots O line, which was abysmal in preseason. On Sunday, they played actually pretty well. I was very impressed. Ramondre Stevenson did a fantastic job, and I'm surprised Jacoby Brissett played mistake-free football, and that's all we could ask of him. He did a very good job. But I really felt good that if T. Higgins didn't go, that we might have a chance if we play mistake-free football, turn the ball over, and that's what New England didn't do last year on defense. They didn't force a lot of turnovers. They forced 2 last week, almost 3, because Keon White, who, by the way, without Judah, he had 2.5 sacks on Sunday. He looked phenomenal.
You lose Bobby?
I think so. Probably a call came in.
Yeah.
Hear me? I'm right
Oh,
here.
You're back.
yeah, we missed you for a second. Go ahead, Bob.
So, what I'm saying is, it's a long season, got a long way to go. It was a good win, but we're on to Seattle now, but you know, I like what I saw from the defense. They played very, very well.
Bob, does this change your approach now off of one game? That because I know you didn't expect New England to have a good year. Does this
Mm-hmm.
give you more hope, or you're still in a holding pattern?
Well, it's one game, so I'm going to take it game by game. But I did like what I saw from week one. If they could win the line of scrimmage and they could run the ball with Stevenson and just play mistake-free football, I think that they could be in games. But it's a long way to go. It's going to get tougher from here. We got San Fran in 2 weeks. We got you guys on Thursday, a week from tonight. So it's going to get tougher from here. But it was a nice upset victory, coming out 1-0, winning the week one matchup for the first time since 2020. So, it's a week to week thing, but I'm always going to cheer for my team and support them no matter what. I think they stand a chance against anybody. So, I have some optimism, but it's a long year, so we got a long way to go.
Guys, we're talking to Bobby Thompson. If you guys can, after the space, you can re-listen to the recordings on YouTube at Jets Commute. So if you guys can subscribe to Jets Commute on YouTube, because we're live right now and we're moving forward with YouTube. So if you guys can, please subscribe to it and check it out after the space. We'd really appreciate it. Go ahead, Bob. Continue.
Yeah. So, and I know you asked me my thoughts on Monday night with the Jets. Well, here's the thing. When Christian McCaffrey was ruled out, that was a bit of a surprise, and I thought that's going to be, the down. That offense still is explosive, but not having McCaffrey is going to be a problem. I thought your guys' defense could really just haul in on the running back, but the problem is You guys couldn't stop the run at all. That guy was going crazy. Debo Samuel looked great. The thing is, I agree with everybody. Before when I came in here, talked about the D line, and Petey, you said about the rotation. You know, losing John Franklin Myers, Jefferson, Huff, and what was it Woods? I believe you
Correct.
said. That's a huge loss. And I'm looking at it, and I'm almost like, where's the pass rush? Where last year the Jets were smothering quarterbacks. They couldn't take one step back in their drop back without somebody in their face. That was something. I think the secondary looked well. They looked good. Sauce, I thought he got really hurt on his shoulder when he made that tackle.
So did I.
So that I thought he tore his shoulder. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. And then he came back in. I think DJ Reader looked really good. DJ Reed looked really, really good. Linebacker CJ Mosley's in a class of his own. That guy's all over the place. Williams, Quincy looked good. It seemed like a quiet night for Quinnen, but he was getting doubled. But the thing is you guys have no pass rush. That's the problem. And talking about the Reddick situation, I agree with before I came in and someone said, I don't think he plays a snap for the Jets. I agree. I don't think he does. He did come out and say he's comfortable missing more games. I'll be honest, I think that's really stupid. You're missing out on a lot of money. Don't understand why. That you can't come up with some kind of compromise, but I understand the Jets standing pat and his situation. So, but you guys got to find a pass rush. I want to see more from Jermaine Johnson. You need him to step up. On the opposite, so who's the opposite pass rusher opposite him?
Right.
Who's on the
Right
other side?
now,
Michael Clemens.
right now it's Clemens, Tack McKinley, Will McDonald. It's you know, Bob. To me, it's just a lot. I mean, people can say we have depth. It's inexperience.
Mm-hmm.
We need Reddick.
Yes, 100%. I think if you guys had Reddick, there's a guy who's going to win one-on-ones. He's going to command a double team, and then the other guys get one-on-ones and try to win like Quinnen. So I agree. I think that's a big hole. Just here's the bottom line. It comes talking about in the trenches, the line of scrimmage. The 49ers offensive line won that. They won the line of scrimmage. I will go pivoting to the Jets offense. I think there is optimism. Rodgers, you know what? The interception, not his fault. The fumble by Brees Hall, you know, that was an issue. But Brees Hall looked phenomenal. I think he had 93 all-purpose yards. And just shows just how good he's going to be this year and how much better he could be. Garrett Wilson's in a league of his own. I think that guy's phenomenal. I think, you know what, Lazard looked good with Rodgers. Wasn't surprised about that. Mike Williams, I'm surprised we didn't see maybe a little bit more from him. But the offensive line for the Jets overall, I got to say, it looked not bad against a very good defensive line. I was very impressed. You know, I think Tyrone Smith, if he could stay healthy, that's a plus for you guys. Morgan Moses played well. The interior offensive line wasn't bad. Rodgers was up. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't even think he was sacked, right? Was he?
Once. Yes, once.
But I will say this. You know what? Rodgers, it's going to take time. It's the first. He hasn't played football in over a year. It's going to be fine. You guys will be just fine. And we'll see what happens.
Steven, go ahead. Sorry, Bob. I thought you were finished.
Yeah, Bob, because you're kind of hitting on some of the things look, obviously I was hyped up for week one. I kind of overhyped him maybe a little bit going into week one, thinking, especially after the McCaffrey news. But going back and looking at history, just from a Jets history standpoint, I mean, week ones, you know, can lead to a bunch of overreactions, one even good and bad. I mean, bad, I remember in 2010, we lost the opener to the Ravens and didn't score a touchdown, and I'm sure at least me and my friends were like, this offense can't do nothing. We can't even move the ball. And then we ended up in the AFC Championship game. And then when we drafted Sam Darnold, we blew out the Lions, scored 48 points, thought we had everything, and ended up winning like 5 games. So week ones are a total can be a total overreaction, good and bad.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking at it, like you said, I'm actually happy they're playing the Titans because of the Callahans.
Right.
Because if anybody looked at that tape and said, "Oh, they can't stop the run. We should just run on them," and it's going to be up to us. And to me, running the ball is as much as it is about scheme. It's about pride as well, and being in the right spot and not over like getting in the wrong spots. So I'm happy and excited to see what we look like this week. And then on offense, like you said, I mean, we just had so many few possessions, and week by week, we should see a bigger jump in Mike Williams being out there and getting more Conklin involved. And so I'm excited because Rodgers, for his first game back, you could see as the game went on, he got more and more into it and looked a little bit more like himself. I mean, we've all been waiting for that free play touchdown.
Yeah.
It's a shame it came in such a blowout fashion, but we've all been waiting for that. I mean, we finally got it, so that's exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. You hit the nail on the head. It's week one, and just like in preseason, everybody, they're going to be horrible. Everything's an overreaction until you play meaningful games. Look, you guys are playing the 49ers, one of the best teams in the league, the best team in the NFC. Rodgers coming back from a year-long injury. It was going to be a challenge, and it's 1 week. You get basically. Bill Belichick used to say this all the time. He used to say, the first couple of weeks of the regular season are kind of an extension of the preseason in a way. So it's going to take time. You guys are playing the Tennessee Titans. I think you guys can really make Will Levis uncomfortable. Sauce Gardner's going to take care of DeAndre Hopkins and Calvin Ridley. I don't think you guys are really going to have to worry that much about them. The running, you just got to figure out the run. I think, emphasize stopping the run and forcing Will Levis to beat them, which goes in your favor with your secondary. So, absolutely, week one losses and wins. It's a lot. It's an overreaction. It's gonna time. Same with the Patriots. They upset the Bengals. I'm not gonna go crazy. Oh yeah, we're gonna win 10 or 11 games. No, no, no. It's a long, long season. It was a nice win. Nice to start out the year strong, and it's a week by week thing. We're on. It's going to be the same thing. We play you guys on a short week on Thursday next week, and I'm literally. It's going to be a challenge because you guys have a better quarterback, you have a better scheme, so we'll see what happens. And I think your defense can give for Jacoby Brissett some problem. Well, I know he's getting some problems, so we'll see what happens. It's a week by week thing, but I agree with you 100%.
Hey, Bobby, on the quarterback. I posted something up in the Jumbotron. It's a breakdown of accuracy for the quarterback and then average separation by receivers. And Rodgers is right up there with Mahomes, which I think that's pretty good company. There are folks who are saying, well, I need to see it. And, he's 40 off an Achilles. And that was kind of the extent of the analysis for the football team. What do you think of Rodgers' first performance in being on the field, for the first time in 2 years, I want to say? What are your thoughts on him?
I thought he looked good. I think he was a little rusty at times, but also that touchdown throw to Lazard, that was just vintage Rodgers. You're going to see that a lot this year with that hard count, with getting a lot of people up in free plays. So I think, you know what? For being hurt coming for the first time in a year, I like what I saw. The interception's not his fault. I don't think, literally, it was a batted up play. I don't know when the quarterback throws an interception off a batted pass, I don't think it's not their fault. I thought, he did what he could. The defense did not help out the offense at all. But I think it's going to be a lot different for you guys this year. It's only going to go up from there, and he's going to get more and more comfortable. So I like what I saw. I definitely did.
If you were looking at the Jet defense and seeing what you just saw, is it an overreaction to say they need either personnel or significant changes up front, or would you chalk it up to, well, they're playing the Niners and they're not going to play a team that difficult through the regular season? What's your thoughts?
Well, also, it's week one. So, I mean, the 49ers got one of the best offensive lines in football. The rotation for the Jets is not there anymore. So basically what this did is it basically showed the Jets, okay, we don't have the depth that we did last year. We're going to have to figure something out. And we also need a guy one-on-one to win his matchups. And Jermaine Johnson is a first round pick, so he's going to have to step up big. I really like Clemens. I think he's talented, but I want to see a little bit more from him. Um, but I think it's week one. You were playing the Niners. They got the best offensive line in football. Well, one of them. I think the Lions have the best offensive line in football. But um, it's week one. You're gonna figure it out. You're gonna find what works, and you'll see what happens. But I wouldn't really put too much stock into it. Yes, do you need a pass rusher like Reddick? Absolutely, 100%, especially down the road when you need wins. But you know what? You just got to figure out how to stop the run. And Salah, listen, defensive guru, he'll figure that out.
Bob,
I wouldn't surprise me this week if he gets it correct.
Bob, a question from one of the listeners. When do you expect Dre Mate to get starts, if at all, this year?
So I'm going to say between weeks 5 and 10. If we keep winning, I think it's going to be a little bit longer. If Jacoby Brissett's playing mistake-free football and we're winning games and we're like 4-1 or maybe or something after 5 games or after 4 games, 3-1, 2-2, we'll see what happens. But I do think Drake May plays. But I'm going to say between weeks 5 and 10. That's when they'll put him in. So you know what? A few weeks ago, I was very upset the Patriots went this route because Drake May looked so good in the preseason. But I understand now that you know what, they don't want to throw him in, get his confidence down. If he struggles, you got to take him out and then put him back. I get it. So if we're winning games, then I'm okay with him sitting a little bit longer. But I think he's going to play this year, and it's between weeks 5 and 10. I'll say week 7.
Fair enough. Joe Jet, you got a question? Joe? Hello, Joe.
Earth to Joe.
Bob, are you there, Joe? Oh. Bob, let me ask you this. With
What's
the
up, man?
game coming up Thursday, do you expect the Jets, you thought the Jets were an obviously better team in the offseason, but now what you've seen, do you expect a really tight, hard-fought divisional game?
Yeah, I always think the Patriots and Jets are going to play hard and tough against each other regardless. So it's going to be a tough one. I think the Patriots' game plan is just going to be physical, try to force Rodgers and collapse the pocket. The Patriots need guys that win one-on-one. I like what I saw from Keon White, but going up against Tyrone Smith or Morgan Moses is going to be an issue. So they got to win the line. The Patriots have to win the battle in the trenches, the line of scrimmage. So controlling the line of scrimmage. So it's going to be a hard fought battle. I think Gonzalez and Marcus Jones, who I don't hype up enough, being back is really good for the Patriots secondary. So I think the Jets are a much better team, 100%. But it's definitely going to be a hard fought game for sure. Absolutely.
Joe, you came up. Do you have a question for Bobby? Hello, Joe. Ay, ay, ay. Go ahead, June.
What's up,
Can
man?
you hear me? Uh, uh, Real quick,
Yeah, I can hear
I
you.
got you. I got the Patriots winning anywhere from 6 to 8 games. What are you looking at? What do you think?
Um, I agree with you. I think the Patriots, I had their high around between 6 and 7 and their low between 4 and 5. So I agree with you. I think that's fair. Um, do I think they're anywhere close to being a playoff team? Absolutely not. I'm really excited for this offseason to see Patriots are going to have over 100 million cap space, see how they could build. But I agree with you, June, 100%. Between 6 and 8 wins, that's doable, 100%.
Yeah, because I don't think they're as bad as what people think,
Agreed.
especially
Yep.
especially with that defense and that running game.
Yep.
Bob,
100%. I think.
Go ahead.
Okay. What's up, bud?
I was going to say, you were obviously impressed with Mayo's debut. How did you think he handled? They kind of held, Cincinnati in check. That's impressive.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? Gerard Mayo is a guy who the Patriots knew was going to be a coach since we drafted him. He's a very smart guy. He learned a lot from Bill Belichick, and I think you guys can agree. The Patriots defense is a little bit more aggressive with Covington, our new D coordinator. But we still disguise for quarterbacks. I really, really like what I saw. I think Gerard Mayo handled it phenomenally. Uh, and if you saw the Patriots defense, did you realize everybody on the team ran? They dumped the Gatorade on him. Everybody just loves Gerard Mayo. They will run through a brick wall for him. I think it's just going to go up from here. It's a breath of fresh air from Bill Belichick. And, I think he handled it phenomenally. I think, you know what? It's a learning curve for him. It's going to be a process, but I like what I saw from him.
So you guys got Seattle at home, and the Jets are on the road. So it's the Jets home opener next week.
Yep.
And what do you expect?
I'm still thinking of that.
Yeah.
I'm still thinking. I'm trying.
Are the Patriots underdog at home against the Seahawks?
Yes, 3.5.
Wow.
Petey, very easily, that Thursday night game could be 2-0 Patriots against the 1-1 Jets.
Yeah. I agree.
I watched
with
that game, by the way. Denver and Seattle. Seattle did not look good, like not at all. So,
yeah,
I like the chances.
If the Patriots can contain Metcalf, we're going to have Gonzalez on him and not let Nijigba and Tyler Lockett get loose. And especially Kenneth Walker, he's injured right now. So if he doesn't play, that's a huge plus. So I think we stand a chance. And we can force it. We know Geno Smith. We've seen him play before. I think we can force some turnovers.
Yeah, Bob, I'm sure, we'll have you on next Thursday for the game preview. So I look forward to that, man.
Me too.
How about Christian Gonzalez, man? I mean, I watched a little on NFL replay on my phone. That dude is impressive, man.
Yeah. He's shut down. I like what I see. He's very physical. He's fast. He covers well. I'm not trying to compare him to Sauce Gardner. He's the Patriots Sauce Gardner. That's the way I see it. But we love him. He's very, very tough. He's not afraid to hit. He covers well, and he's going to put you on an island by himself, and that's what we got him for. I thank God that the Commanders took Emmanuel Forbes and didn't take him. Love it. So yeah, he's very impressive. We're very, very happy to have him back, 100%. And also another guy on the Patriots defense. His name is Marcus Jones. He's our nickel corner, and we're very happy to have him back.
Bob, how do you view the Jets season playing out?
I think you guys are going to get better. We're going up against a tough opponent. You guys are going to be in every game. I think your defense will figure it out. Your offense will get much. You're going to see a lot more scoring, especially as the season goes on. I think Brees is going to take a step forward. I think you guys can win between 9 and 11 games, 100%.
Hey, Bob, I always ask every guest we have, what's your AFC East prediction, 1-4?
1-4. Okay. You know what? It's so early, and this is going to change every week as the season goes on, June. So forgive me. So here's what I think. I'm going to go with this. I'm going to say, this is a tough one. I'm going to go with Buffalo winning the division, but it's a close one. I think the Jets are going to be second. Dolphins are going to be third, and New England's going to finish last in the division. And then they will get better in the offseason. But 1-4 right now. Bills, Jets, Dolphins, Patriots.
Are you picking the Bills tonight?
Yes.
Wow. A lot of people are picking Miami.
I'm going to go with Buffalo. I think it's going to be a tough game. I think Tyreek Hill has a really, really good game. But I'm going to go with Buffalo. Anytime you have Josh, the way for the Dolphins to win this game, they got to force some turnovers. So see what happens.
Bobby, do you feel like the way Josh Allen's playing right now is sustainable for a full year? Because I have my concerns about him trying to manage hero ball through a full year plus playoffs. What's your thoughts?
Are you talking about Josh Allen? Did you say?
Yeah, Josh Allen playing like he's a guy who can put the game on his back, but him trying to do that for a full year plus playoffs, like I have my
It's
concerns.
gonna it's gonna be tough, but I think as the year goes on, the young guys are gonna get more comfortable. Um, yeah, it's just gonna get better. Um, so we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I think what you saw what Josh Allen could do. I mean, they were down against Arizona, and he put the team on his back. Yeah, it's gonna be tough, but Keon Coleman, I think, is a guy he can rely on down the stretch. I've been very high on him. They're going to have to. James Cook is going to have to take a step forward. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be. See what happens.
So, Bob, is it safe to say that you don't have that much trust in Miami's defense?
Um, I think Miami's defense is decent. I think they got their hands full with him tonight. I think Jalen Ramsey can take care of their receiving core, but I also think that Josh Allen could find ways to make plays. I think their defense stacks up well against them, but I think Josh Allen could find ways to make plays down the road, down the as the game goes on.
Bob, I know you got to run. I appreciate you joining for all the time that you spent on here, and we'll talk to you next week. All right?
Yeah, man, sounds good. Thanks for having me on, guys. Happy football's back. Glad to talk to you guys. And anytime you want to talk, just hit me up. I'm always
No
around.
doubt, Bob. Thanks, guys. Follow
Appreciate you,
Bobby.
Bobby.
Yep.
Thanks,
Always a
Bob.
pleasure.
Appreciate you, brother.
Always a pleasure, man.
All
Thank
right,
you.
Bobby Thompson. Thanks again, guys. If you want to join the conversation, please request up. Uh, yeah, should be interesting. AFC East. Everybody won except the Jets.
I think tonight, as much as it painfully hurts me to say this, I think Miami will show everybody that their defense is not no pushover.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a close game, but can you hear me, June? Sorry, I had a call.
Yeah, I got you. No, I got you.
That was the shocker to me, man, is that Miami's defense is starting to look like a
Yeah,
unit this early in the year. So, I mean, we'll see. I mean, again, it's week one. I understand, and um, and also the team they were playing against. So, I mean, look, the obvious upshot for the Jets is that one of these teams is going to be 1-1. You know what I mean? So the Jets have a chance to
yeah,
right the ship against
yeah.
Tennessee, and now they need to handle their business. And I said yesterday in CB's room, listen, I don't really care if the Jets win by a point. Like, just go win the football game because this offense isn't like it's not a finished product. Like that's and I'm fine. Listen, the biggest question of the offseason was what version of Rodgers are the Jets getting? And I feel like we're much closer to that answer. I'm very happy with what I saw out of Rodgers um, against an excellent, a team that could prove to be the best team in the league this year. Like, and Rodgers looked fine. So he's not going to be the guy who loses the games. So, and how often have we seen quarterback play be the reason why the Jets lose games? They won 7 games last year and lost what, like 3 games by one score, scoring well below league average points. So, like, I don't know. The sky is not falling for me yet, but there are fans for whom the sky's already falling and it's already a wrap. But I just I don't understand that perspective, frankly. And
Man,
folks
me
who are
either.
preying on Rodgers, being
It's
like, oh, let's see it. I don't know. He's old. Oh, Achilles. It's like, did you see the guy throw the ball? Did you see the guy get someone to jump off sides and get points off it?
I
Like,
did.
he's good, man.
it,
He's
it,
fine.
it, and Mark, I had somebody from the Buffalo fan base tag me and say that Rodgers played like trash.
I had a Miami fan
What?
say, oh, you guys still looking for Mike White? I'm like, what? All right.
Yeah.
Apparently, I struck a nerve with my comments about Mike White, who's a fine quarterback. I don't know what Miami did to make him
Yeah,
worse, so I'll
that
leave Mike
wild
White
take you
alone.
made. That wild take you
Yeah.
made, Mark. Mark,
Well, I'll leave that alone. Yes, go
yeah,
ahead.
well, speaking of Dolphins, let's get to our buddy Mr. Negative. Hey man, how you been?
Good, P. How you guys been?
Good morning.
What's good,
Hey,
Mr.
Mr.
Morning,
Negative?
Negative,
morning.
are you confident tonight?
Well, PD, here's the thing: is like I'm on record as saying, that like Buffalo is the team I most despise of any team. They've been, a thorn in my side since the '90s. Even when both teams were bad, we were going back and forth, getting a win here, getting a win there. It was like, it didn't really matter. But at times when like, we're both really good, it's usually Buffalo coming out on top. And I don't know what it is. I mean, Josh Allen, he's that guy. I mean, he just finds a way. He sees the Dolphins uniforms and he just plays like out of his mind. You go look at the numbers and he's 11-2 against us. The only two losses are in the extreme heat a couple of years ago. And even then he had a really good game, over like 500 yards of offense. And Charles Clay dropped pass in his rookie season. So, I mean, he's two plays away from being undefeated against us. And I really hope that Miami can solve him. I think, they have to throw everything out there, but the kitchen sink, maybe have Tyreek Waddle back on kickoffs, maybe they can break one. You can't worry about injuries. And that's, I put it out there last night that they have to kind of do those sorts of things, right? To get those types of points that you're not normally going to get, because I mean, Josh Allen, he's going to put up his points. He's going to put up his 24 to 30 points. And can Miami, I liked what the defense did in week 1. I give them full props. That they held Jacksonville scoreless in the second half, and the game was turned on that Javon Holland forced fumble with Travis Etienne going into the end zone. So I mean, otherwise we lose that game. And I'm I can't say I'm confident, P, because all I've seen is Josh Allen dominate, my team. And I hate it. I don't like it, but I got to put respect on it because I mean, he's just that good. And until Miami proves they can beat Josh Allen, I'm skeptical, even with all the losses. The Bills sustained in the offseason, they still have number 17, and he's that guy against us. Like, his numbers are Hall of Fame. So really, to answer your question, I'm queasy. I'm queasy tonight. I'm hopeful that that we can pull off a W, because everything's kind of aligned, right? We're playing at home. It's early in the season. Josh, has got a non-throwing hand injury. His hand's banged up. You know, I'm just hopeful that Miami can find a way. That they got to get past that mentally. With Josh Allen and Buffalo, because until they do, we're not winning the division. I just have to call it like it is. That you got to be the man, you got to beat the man. So it's one of those things. So, but it's gonna be fun.
Yeah,
It's football. I love football whenever it's playing. I even watch CFL football, when NFL's not going. So,
right.
I just love it in general. And tonight's going to be, a really, raucous environment. Two teams that hate each other, and it's a rivalry game. So we'll see what happens.
Mr. Negative, Mark's gonna be mad at me for this, but my sincere condolences to the White Sox. What a disgrace.
PD, I tell you, you know what? I'm still a fan. I'm still a White Sox fan. I'll always be a White Sox fan. I've been on record as saying, you know what? Until ownership changes, until like, that's just a trickle effect, right? Ownership changes, then you get better front office guys, GM, scouts, all that stuff, and it's just a mindset, right? I mean, the owner doesn't spend. He doesn't put a product on the field that is worthy of Major League Baseball. It's a basically a AAA team, and I don't even have confidence that we could beat other AAA teams. And it's just sad, because I mean, I've been a White Sox fan since '89, through the Frank Thomas era and Robin Ventura, and all those guys, Jack McDowell, Alex Fernandez, and I mean, back then it just seemed to matter. Now it's like, I'm the owner. I'm just going to collect all the revenue I can, and I'll just do the least I have to do. And it's just sad. And I hope that, maybe some changes on the horizon. But I think the worst part, Petey, is the MLB rules where we can draft only 10th overall. We only get the 10th overall pick. That's the highest we can go with the draft lottery rules. And it's just another
That's a
kind of
joke.
it's a punch in the face, because I mean, I get the whole, you don't want to see tanking, but in Major League Baseball, you're grabbing at prospects, right? It's not like in the NFL where you know who the number one guy, is going to be. It's all slotted money, and it's all, okay, we'll take a flyer on this guy or that guy, but it's like these players are more closely, together as far as talent. So I don't know what advantage Major League Baseball seems to think, that the White Sox are trying to achieve. I can guarantee that, no team wants to be as historically bad as the White Sox have been this year. I might have watched maybe an entire game that, like, collectively. I just can't tune in. I can't watch, like, hot garbage on the field. I just can't do it. I got better things to do with my time, but I will always follow along as far as like the box score and, and that sort of thing. So, but I wanted to ask you guys about the Jets. I watched Monday Night Football, and I saw like a quarterback who was making throws. I saw a quarterback who wasn't getting a lot of, I guess, assistance. Early on from, there was wide receiver drops. The O line was kind of in flux. I thought it got a little bit better as the game went on, but I think the Jets' issues might be more defensively. I expected a better showing. I know it's San Francisco. I didn't expect them to win the game, but I expected a better showing defensively. And I thought that, Salah didn't have any answers for what the 49ers were doing. And I don't know, is Salah on the hot seat? Like, what's going on there?
Mark, you want to go?
Yeah, I think Mr. Negative, from our conversations from after the end of last season, heading into this season, the fans are telling us that if the Jets don't win a playoff game, then everybody's gone.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if Joe Douglas has put any air between himself and Salah. I feel like that changes on the daily. Like at one point, Joe Douglas built this O line that now the pass pro is looking much, much better.
Mm-hmm.
The run game struggled against San Fran, but again, that's San Fran. It's also week one.
Yep.
But now folks are also dissatisfied with how Reddick is being handled. So I
Right.
feel like if you ask a Jet fan any given day, depending on how the Reddick situation is going, they either want to keep Joe Douglas or let him go.
Right. Now with Riddick, like, okay, so they trade for him, and was it like public knowledge? Was it knowledge at all that he wanted a new contract, before kind of agreeing to a trade anywhere, not just the Jets, but any team? Or was he? It was under the impression that he was going to play on that existing deal.
It was known that he wanted more money, so
Okay.
that was known.
Well, like, hopefully for, the Jets' sake, hopefully for them, he's back. Hopefully, for the Jets, long term, kind of goal of the season, because they're going to need Reddick, right? I mean, he's a great player, and hopefully for them, they can work something out. I don't think he'll sit the entire season because he'll want to get credited for the year. But I mean, you want him in the building, you want him there now, because he can only help you guys. I think with the loss of Bryce Huff, which is a tough loss for you guys. Riddick was the guy who was, I guess, going to replace him, and you definitely need him.
Yep. Charles, go ahead.
Good morning, y'all. Good morning.
What's up? What's up?
Yeah, so I
Good morning,
was
brother.
listening. What's up, June? So I was listening to Mr. Bad Guy, I forget his name. He was asking if Robert is on the hot seat and Joe put some space between them. No. You don't go into a win now season, get rid of JFM, Huff, and now we have Quentin Williams playing the edge, and you have McDonald playing D tackle on some of these plays. What I saw from the 49ers, it's not about the offense. People keep talking about the offense. Yeah, they had some miscues, fumbling, and maybe a drop by Lazard. It's not the offense. It's the way our defense got manhandled and continued to get manhandled throughout the game. First half, I'd throw you a bone and say, okay, well, maybe they need to adjust. Second half, they're still getting manhandled, and there's nothing they could do about it. I watch my linemen with their backs up against the offensive linemen, and they couldn't do anything. And that's what's concerning for me. And I don't see anyone on the roster that can change that. On top of Mosley being hurt. I know people don't really kind of cue on shit like that, but Mosley is hurt. His wrist is messed up. You could see him favoring it when he tried to rush the passer, or when he did blitz, or when he did try to stop the run. That's big, because Sherwood isn't it. He's just not it. He's not it. So for us to go into a win now season, and you get rid of all the people that you got rid of on our defense as far as in the trenches, and you don't replace any of them, and now you have free agents out there trying to do what veterans, pretty good veterans, were doing, that's concerning. And I don't know, maybe they go into the Titans and they change something, but I don't see Clemens, I don't see McDonald, I don't know about the free agents that we put in them positions. I don't know about them. Maybe Taylor can do something, but I don't see the answer, because the way they ran on us, I know everyone watched it. It was blunt force trauma, and they couldn't do nothing about it. So I get it, but Joe messed up. Joe messed up, and hopefully he can fix it. Whether I don't see people keep saying Reddick. That wasn't it was the trenches. It was in the B gap they were running. So I get the pass rush maybe, but as far as not enough meat, like Maddie was talking about on the interior of our D line, which is what we need, I don't see how you fix that.
So, Charles, you don't think Lucky Foti returning will have an impact?
I don't know enough about him. All I know is, like I said, Mark, is you got rid of Huff, you got rid of JFM, Al Woods is not playing no more, Jefferson's not here anymore, and you didn't I don't think you replaced him with enough, because Kinlaw, he kind of rubbed me wrong. We getting our ass ran through, and he's on the sideline laughing. I don't care if somebody told a joke. You need to be sitting over there focused, trying to figure out a way to stop the run. That kind of rubbed me wrong. Little stuff rubbed me wrong, because us fans, especially me, I talk shit, and I'm talking shit, and my team is like, I'm waiting for my team to back me up, and we go in there, and I don't care that we lost. It's just how we lost. They manhandled us, Mark. Like, I know you had to see it. It was terrible. They had McDonald at D tackle, bruh. He was getting bent everywhere. And I think Lee John was fighting with us at one time, talking about, yeah, he can set the edge. No, he cannot. And I don't care what no one tells me at this point. He is too small. Shit, I want to move him to linebacker. That's how skinny he is.
Hey, Charles, I want to play wide receiver.
Something. Maybe a tight end, maybe. But not, I should never. I want to know who bright idea was it to put that man at D tackle, bro.
Yeah, but
That's what
wait, Charles, to be fair though, that play on that instant, I don't know I forget how many plays it was. Quinton Williams got a pressure on one of the plays that he was at defensive end, and he forced an incompletion. So to be fair, it did work that play. Now,
But
I
that's
don't know
Quentin.
how many.
For me, Petey, that's just Quentin being Quentin. Wherever he goes, he's gonna
Correct.
get some type of pressure. I guess they were trying to avoid the double team, maybe. But you're not doing your defensive line any justice when he's not in the interior. He's not in the interior. It's almost like when our roster was depleted and they had who was the defensive end we hated? He was always running his mouth. I think he's from damn, what's his name? Oh God, I forget his name. He
Calvin Pace.
not Pace. Pace was a
I'm trying to bring
no.
up his name.
Who?
Sorry, go ahead,
No,
Charles.
go ahead.
No, I just forget his name. But they had him playing at a linebacker at one time in coverage, and it was almost like
Brian
that. You're moving,
Thomas.
not Brian. He was. I
Barb
forget his name.
Scott.
Nah, these are good guys. He wasn't all that good. He was all right, but he wasn't that good. But that's besides the point. They're playing for me. They're playing out of their position, and I don't feel like you need to do that when your D line was intact at one time, and now you made this big move for Reddick, and he's not even here, and you haven't replaced. I feel like you haven't replaced none of the people that you left. You let go. That's big for us, Petey. Our front four is like our staple. I know our secondary is, but our front four. And speaking of that, and I'm gonna leave. They need to start doing 8 and 9 in the box. If they're saying this secondary is so good, they might need to be on the island at times because I don't know how. I really don't know how they're going to stop the run the way they look. I understand rust. I understand scheme, but that wasn't scheme. That wasn't rust.
Yeah.
That was just another man bending another man, and that's just what it was. And pause. We can say the pause, but
Yeah.
that's what I saw.
Charles, they need Reddick. That's the bottom line. They need Reddick.
Can I say something, Pete,
Yeah,
on
then get
this?
the Vezo.
Yeah, and I want to get to Vezzo. Where I get frustrated is I feel like I'm the only person saying Jeff Ulbrich. Like, I understand Joe Douglas and the personnel changes and the rest of it, and I understand folks saying, "Oh, well, Robert Sala is the head coach, so he's ultimately accountable." I agree with all that, but where is the Ulbrich criticism in all this? Last time I checked, he's earning a paycheck as the defensive coordinator. Folks have propped him up as a head coaching candidate. And last time I also checked, he's the guy with the call sheet. And if you were seeing Quinnen on the edge, or you're seeing McDonald in the middle, or you're seeing, I'm seeing games up front and slants where guys are getting completely washed out of the run game, and I'm seeing massive holes and an inability to manage the run splits. You got ends lining up wide. I mean, I can go down the list of the X's and O's we've said, and we've heard from other fans and other fan bases analyzing all 22. And nobody is talking about the fact that Jeff Ulbrich effed up that game. He's the reason why the team lost against the Niners.
Hey,
Him.
Mark, I would go with that, but I would only go with that if Robert had more like if he was more into the offense as we kind of want him to be. He's not really part of that offense. He might sit in some meetings or anything or something, but he doesn't do anything on offense. He literally passes it off to Hackett and Rogers. So saying that, you should be like your defense should be status quo. I don't care if Ulbrich doing dumb shit. That's when that's like when we saw Herm Edwards flip on old boy about taking Martin out. At a certain point, you got to say, okay, let me take over this play calling. This is a guy I know. Robert wanted to win that game, Mark. I know he did. So when do you stand up and say, okay, you doing dumb shit? So you just go to the side. I don't care if you get upset, and I'm going to take over the play calling. I
Well,
can't
once
take
you
that.
take the call sheet, Charles, once you take it, can you hand it back? Like that's a tough
And
it's a
that's
tough
what he
move.
has to stand on. That's what he has to stand on as a coach.
He's not that type of coach.
Oh, I found out,
We
June. I
and we
found
all
out,
know that.
June. When he sat up there talking about Clemens played a good game, he's sitting up there talking about Clemens played a good game. Are you serious? Just shut up. Don't answer the questions. And I was a Robert fan until he opened his mouth, and I kind of keyed in on it because I listened to it. But when he opened his mouth and he said, "Oh, Clemens did a good job," what you mean? And you watching film? You watching film, watching your man get turned around, bent over, and all, and he did a good job.
And you see, every time he opens his mouth, it's a bad thing.
Oh,
Let's get Vezzo too. Vezzo, we're just talking. If you want to jump in, go ahead, man.
Yeah, nah, what's going on, guys?
Vaz, what's up, brother?
What's going on? No, look, I look at it from I don't think it's as much of a personnel thing. I think that I mean obviously it would help, you know what I'm saying, if we still had an Al Woods, but I think schematically, I think we were in the wide nine, and when I tell you, like, you had D ends lining up not only outside of the tackle, but outside of the tight end who's lined up next to the tackle. When you realize, like, that is like, that's like you're not even putting yourself in the play most of the time when you got guys running, like you said, B gap, even to C gap sometimes. Because like I watched the game and I'm watching it live. Usually, when you double team as an interior offensive lineman, you go from D tackle or D end and you double team up to the linebacker. I was seeing guys just getting just full out head starts, not touching anybody and just getting straight to the second level because we are just so spread out on the D line. And I'm just like, okay, this is clearly not the game to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't watch the game and say, hey, the Niners are just gashing us on sweeps, on like jet sweeps or tosses or things to the outside. I said that they are just making it so easy for them, considering that their biggest weapon at running back is out of the game. I would make a Mason beat me to the edge consistently. You know what I'm saying? That's what I would do. And the biggest problem is I didn't see any adjustments in the game to say, okay, I see what wrinkle they installed this week to throw Kyle Shanahan and that offense off. I didn't see anything like that to make me think, okay, that was a great idea. I see what they did there. I see what they're trying to do. It looked like they almost treated it like a vanilla game plan preseason type of game. And I said this in a space earlier this week. I'm like, I really think they looked at that game as a preseason warm-up game to just knock off the rust. Hey, if we win, we win, but more than likely we probably won't. Let's just get everybody, back used to playing, and whatever happens, happens. That's how I looked at it.
Hey,
And
hey, Vez, to your point, Vez, real quick,
yeah,
you're right. In running situations, why would you go wide nine? That doesn't make sense to me.
yeah. So I just I wish I just saw more adjustments. And it is what it is. We'll see what they do on Sunday. At the end of the day, I think it's too early to even when it comes to the run defense. I still think it's too early to just judge the personnel per se. But as far as like the scheme itself, it was really disappointing to see them not even really adjust. Like I mean, even the fact, I mean, Quentin Williams at DN, okay, like yeah, it's a cool idea to throw in every now and then, but you can't do that consistently. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Quentin Williams, we pay him all that money to play D tackle, and this you do more really as a D tackle than you do as a DN, especially in the run game. So at that point, you got to earn your paycheck and you got to put him back in the box. And then even like one last thing too is like the first play of the game. Sherwood was in that linebacker, so they had three linebackers in the game. I don't even think I seen Sherwood the rest of the game after that point when he made that play. I mean, like I seen a lot of Michael Carter, I seen a lot of Chuck Clark in the box, but not as much as three linebackers. They were running a lot of nickel. So like it's just I don't know. I don't know. Hopefully Sunday, like I said, even if they do win, I hope that they don't give up, 150 plus yards on the ground because then I will be a little bit more like, okay, this is a scheme and a personnel problem. But if they do good versus the run on Sunday, and Pollard had a good game last week versus the Bears, so
Viz, are you muted? Did
That
we
Damn,
that
lose
was
him?
Bezo was cooking.
damn
Yeah,
that
he's
that was
cooking.
me. Yo, I apologize. I'm
oh shit,
sorry. I did not mean that. I
dang
actually
it, Petey.
damn, I didn't use the mute button all day. That's good. Sorry about that,
No, it's
boss.
all good. But no, it's all good. I just like I said, I just hope the run game or the run defense looks better on Sunday. And then I'll be fine. But hopefully, like I said, even in the win, if they do give up 150 plus yards on the ground again, then I think it will be more so time to worry. But I think that they'll adjust better, and I think that their attitude, flying to the ball, making better tackles, I think that will look better on Sunday. And if it does, then we'll just move on at that point. So
Hey Vezo,
Awesome points.
Vezo, you
Awesome
know what
points.
you know what it is? You broke it down perfectly, but we will know because guess what? This is a copycat league and how we got gashed, I can almost bet all my savings that they're gonna do the Titans are gonna do the same or attempt to do the same exact thing.
100%. I don't, and I can't remember who the Titans' new head coach is. But I don't think he would, considering what Will Levis did last week, and basically he gave away the game. I don't think he would let them have that opportunity again this week. I think they're going to live and die by the run Sunday. So
Callahan, son, Maddie, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean Vezo's, opinion there, his take just now was, it was perfect. Well, I mean, I agree with it. I don't know if it was perfect, but I agree with everything he said. This, we have we have an organization right now that is very sort of like a trust the process sort of organization. It's like there's no urgency, there's no accountability. It was the first game. We'll get it fixed. I'm not worried. Coach is like, I'm not worried about anything. There's just this sort of like, this is a 17 game season sort of shtick with this organization. And I just wonder when will the urgency kick in? Will it be next week if they lose? Will it be the third week if they lose? Like when will they switch? And it's an interesting philosophical discussion, right? Because it is a long season, and you can't panic. And a steady hand from the top might be the right philosophy. And you see it with Rodgers, you see it with Salah. They both have this sort of "don't worry, we'll figure it out. We're not worried" mentality. So it's going to be very interesting to watch, right? Like how this unfolds early if they don't uh, get it together. Again, I think that they're going to win, and I think they're going to win very, very marginally. I think they're going to win by anywhere from like 2 to 4 points, just like Vegas says. I think it's going to come down to the end, and it's just going to be interesting to watch the urgency and accountability from the top down with this team. But I was not disappointed by the game. I went to sleep and I slept really good that night. I was happy that Aaron survived. I was happy that Aaron threw the ball on the money like only he can. That was really fucking cool to watch. Um, and let's see if they get better.
Mike,
Maddie,
you
for as
came up. Yeah,
long,
go ahead, Mark.
yeah, and we'll get to Bike and Chris is requesting up too. Maddie, for as long as Roger stays healthy this year, now I'm not worried about quarterback this year. Now it's can they first of all can the offense hit rhythm? Like can they find their stride? And again, let's keep and you could say, okay, well, Mark, there's no guarantee of that. Well, it's all new pieces up front. Like they're going to need time on task and play together because they haven't played at all in the preseason and together as a unit. So I have some
They're
faith there. Just one more thing, Matt, which is on the defensive side of the ball, just like, they've added some pre-snap stuff and now they've got some more motion. I was listening to Roger's comments about that. Like, they're adding it because lots of teams are adding it. And like, he gave a long talk about it in the post game. I would expect this week. And I think, honestly, it's Salah. He said there were a lot of chefs in the kitchen on the offense in the offseason. That includes Hackett. It's got to include Salah and the rest of it. I would fully expect Salah to be in the defensive meeting room with Ulbrich and that squad trying to get the shit right this week. If they lay an egg against Tennessee on defense, that's when I'm going to start to say, okay, wait a second, what the fuck is going on here? You got the brightest minds in the building, including Salah, who made his pedigree off of defense. Like, if that defense doesn't look right, now it's like, all right, as a personnel, at that point, are they going to Joe Douglas and saying, Joe, we need more ingredients for this shit? Like, that's what's going to be telling, I think. That's what I'm going to be looking for in this week. Like, how does the Jet defense handle what Tennessee's trying to do?
I think the season's relying right now on the coaches. The coach is a very humble man, and he's a good man, but he's got hubris about his ability and his belief on the defensive line and his ability to get the most out of guys that may not be that good. And that's why he was okay letting John Franklin Myers go, because he thinks that what he brings to the table is the ability to develop guys like Kinlaw and get the most out of these guys, out of these undrafted free agents. And the season's going to live and die on that.
Chris, good morning.
Good morning, Mark. Good morning, Jets Commute. What's going on, family? Petey, how's everything?
Yo,
My brother June, what's going on? How's everybody doing?
What's good with you, brother? What's good with you, brother?
I just got in a little while ago. So I'll just go off what I just heard. And it's really just more of a thought. Vezo, whoo, keep blowing. Pause. Um, that's probably some of the best information. And if anybody hasn't, check out Connor Rogers, Badlands. I know I had DM some of it to CB, but check it out because there's some interesting, if you haven't, statistics on personnel usage, heavy personnel usage, the percentage of runs out of those heavy personnel packages, and what they were going against in terms of possible light personnel on the defensive side for the Jets. Maddie, I wanted to ask you a question. In terms of this is just after this is after the first game, 16 more to go. The question I actually have is if you thought about this in terms of, and you can help me out. If I'm not mistaken, you play golf, right?
Yeah, I used to until I just broke my foot, but yeah,
Oh,
I
I'm
do play
sorry to
golf.
hear that. Well, in terms of the amount of time in between games that you have to think about things, is it a little similar to possibly golf shots or golf rounds? And when I say that, it's just the thing of projecting an image of calm. Okay, how about I ask you this question? Um, take it for what it's worth. What would you say, okay, if the Jets' first game against the 49ers, the result, if it was the first hole of a par four, what would you say that the Jets' performance was? Would you say it was a par? Would you say
double
would you
Yeah,
bogey.
say
they got a double bogey.
okay, so now, after a double bogey, right? You kind of have to kind of collect yourself to play that second hole. Or let's just say it's a bad round and you're +4. And you got to collect it and you have a lot of time to think. That's one of the things that always struck me about golf to me, especially basketball being one of my primary sports. It always seemed like you're on the foul line with no time on the clock and it's like you have 2 free throws to send it into overtime. But that's just I mean, Maddie, you're a little bit, not a little, a lot more
Yeah,
experienced.
one hole is one game. You
Yep,
can certainly get a double bogey on the first hole and still shoot a great round. You could also get a birdie on the first hole and then shoot a bad round.
bingo.
So one hole is one hole, and um, it is interesting. I think that the Jets. I think when you get your ass kicked the way that the Jets did, I would think that they'd want like a couple of days to heal their bodies in the tubs, and then they'd want to play as soon as they possibly could to sort of, get the stink off and go back into the fight. But I don't know if there's a real comparison with, golf is a one man sport like tennis. You're out there by yourself, so you only have your thoughts, no teammates, and it's you can definitely become a head case. I think with football, it's like a little different as far as the time between plays, the time between games, because you got your team, you got 50 guys out there, right? It's a little different.
Oh, it's much different.
But
It's
there's no
way
doubt
way
that the
different.
first hole is not indicative of. I mean, we always talk about the '98 season. They started off 0-2 in that season. So to me, again, it doesn't mean anything. I still think the Jets are winning 10 games this year, and I still think they're a good team. They got their ass whipped, but to me, if there's one thing, if your deficiency is not being able to stop the run, believe it or not, guys, I actually think that is a deficiency that I'm okay with, because that's a function of two things. One, just your will to stop the run, and and potentially they just have to add another big body in there. But I think it's a fix. I might be naive, but I think it's a fixable thing, as opposed to like not having a quarterback or not having like other things on the team. This to me is something that we should get right, especially with a defensive staff like this.
And that's what I'm hoping, Maddie. Like what you touched on, you fucked around and got your ass whooped, mollywopped, and now you have this upcoming game where a team is probably going to do the same thing that you kind of fix the ship. And that's what I'm praying on. That